All right, I'm going to do my final question, I think, for today. Time for my little afternoon caffeine boost. But that's good. Coffee's our friend. Someone asked in one of the questions that was presented to me was, I'm visiting the Philippines for the first time. Can you tell me some things that I should do to avoid offending the Filipino people? I love that question because when you're visiting a new place, and you're not wanting to make a rear end out of yourself. Obviously, you want to avoid doing things that would offend someone. You're wanting to show respect to them and their culture. So I really love this question. Now, let me start off with something that I've observed about comparing Filipino culture to Americans. This may make some of you aggravated with me, but I'm going to say it anyway. One thing I love about Filipinos in comparison to my fellow Americans is that Filipinos do not seem to be in a contest to see who can get offended more frequently. One thing that bothers me right now in American culture is we're offended over everything. And I would say that Filipinos, generally speaking, are not easily offended. It's not part of their culture to get upset about every little thing. In fact, if someone is really, really easily offended or a poor sport, they have a word for that. It's called pikon, Pikon. If you say mapikon siya, that means that's someone who's he or she's a bad sport, they're oversensitive and get their feelings hurt really easily. So it is not considered a virtue in the Philippines to get offended over everything. Having said that, I can share with you just a few very simple things that you can do for your first visit, a few pitfalls that you can avoid. First of all, this is a really big one, and this is arguably the most important. Do not use words like dumb and stupid, especially in describing someone. Um, that's probably one of the most offensive things that you can say to someone in the Philippines. If you say you're dumb, you're stupid, something like that, that's just really one of the ultimate insults. And that's really just going to make enemies very quickly if you say that. Now, to give you an idea of how big of a deal this is, in many cases, in Tagalog in particular, the curse words actually mean stupid. I mean, some of the worst curse words you can say to somebody are the word stupid in Filipino. Now, um, not all of the words that mean dumb in Tagalog are curse words, but still, they're all considered very rude, very offensive. So mark that off your list as something that you'll say in the Philippines. Don't say dumb or stupid. That's one big one. And let's see what else I wrote down here. Another thing that I would advise you to do, I mentioned this in another video, is to smile at all times. And I don't mean just a little smile. I mean grin and show your fangs. That's what someone told me after I first arrived at the Philippines. You're not smiling enough, show your fangs. Always smile, and even if you're frustrated, even if the line is long, even if you go to buy something and they tell you it's out of stock, or come back tomorrow, even if you're bargaining with someone on the street, you feel like they're not giving you a fair price, generally speaking, most of the time you smile. And the only exception I can think of is when I was dealing sometimes with taxi drivers who were just completely trying to rip me off, then maybe I didn't smile. But in your day-to-day life, when you're walking around, if you're someone, for example, who's a little more stoic and not smiling all the time, people are going to be thinking, what's wrong with that guy? Why is he not happy? Because they're so expressive, they're so jovial that if you're not smiling, they're going to assume that there's something wrong and you're not having a good time and you're not happy. And as I said in another video, if you have a serious or scowl on your face, that can be considered very aggressive there. So always smile. Two more things quickly. One is you need to carry a handkerchief with you and always wipe the sweat off of your face. Yes, you're close to the equator. Yes, you're always going to be sweating. I always did in the Philippines. But one thing I learned is for Filipinos to have a sweaty face is just considered really gross and disgusting to them. And again, to me, it's kind of like almost unfair because it's how can I not have a sweaty face? It's so hot here. But you just constantly try to wipe your face off and you'll be fine. I can remember one time I went to campus one day. This was back when I was in Manila doing campus ministry, and I had forgotten my handkerchief, and I could just tell that it was really distracting the students I was trying to talk to, the fact that I had a sweaty face. In fact, some of them wanted to wipe my face for me. So always remember to carry a handkerchief with you. Try to keep your face as dry as possible, and that will go a long way. And another thing I'll add here quickly, and I'm not trying to insult your intelligence, but be sure that you're showering frequently. One thing that you'll appreciate about Filipinos is they're very meticulous about their hygiene. They usually shower twice a day, so be sure that you are showering frequently. You definitely do not want to have body odor because in the Philippines, they're going to wonder what's wrong with you. They know that you can afford soap and water. Last but not least, keep in mind that when you visit the Philippines, you will get questions. The Filipinos will nervously ask you what you think of their country. And the way they phrase the question may be something that you're not used to because the way they will ask it is, how do you find the Philippines? And needless to say, that's not the way we would phrase that question normally, but that's what they mean. What do you think about the Philippines? And when I was training missionaries and volunteers, one thing that I would encourage them to do is be honest, but be positive. And what I mean by that is, when I was in Manila, the students would say, "How do you find the Philippines?" There was no point in saying, "Oh, Manila is just the most beautiful city I've ever seen in my life." Well, they know that that's not true. They know that I'm blowing some proverbial smoke there if I start talking that way. So, what I would just do is say, "Oh, I love it here," and then I would talk about the things that I genuinely loved. So, for example, I would say, "Yes, I love it here because I really love the people. They're so friendly." Or, "I love it here because I love the food. I love chicken adobo." If you tell them your favorite food, that will go a long way too because that lets them know that you really have tasted some of the local cuisines and that you're really enjoying your time there. So anyway, those are just a few things. Let me review the little list I've got here. It's 4 things. Avoid the word stupid or dumb. Smile as much as possible. Keep that sweaty face wiped, and be honest about the things that you are genuinely enjoying about your visit. If you do that, I think you're not going to offend anyone, and I think you'll really make friends quickly.